Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video of the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode, episode number 20 today for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, season 2, round number 4. If you missed the previous episode at Monaco, you can go and check it out, although it was a bit dull, there wasn't a lot to offer. So, yes, we're just going to instead, there are other videos available on this channel that have got a lot more racing than that Monaco episode. Just be thankful I did not let you sit through 39 laps of that. But anyway, regarding the in terms of the team, we've got $8.28 million, so you can see there the team factory, the team HQs rather, just whizzing about in the background. And we're actually going to make an upgrade to one of them, because I spotted Mr. Ben Daly in the background and I don't want him working for me anymore. So therefore I need to upgrade something. So the build time is going to be upgraded on the Sashi side. In terms of R&D itself, unlike Aston Martin, where upgrades are limited because they can't be bothered to upgrade the H2, at Phoenix Grand Prix we got none of that option. We're going to put a couple of R&D upgrades on the aero side in terms of minor and rear downforce. Unfortunately, we've department capacity on the aero side. That's a little bit annoying. We've only got 2 upgrades, so instead we're going to also put a major engine power upgrade, which we got 50% off already, on the pistons. So that's going to come in time for but not going to rush it. We're going to come in time for Canada next episode, and that's also going to be a major ERS upgrade as well. So both of those upgrades are going to come on the car, hopefully launch us back up into the car. Unfortunately, the DRS upgrade failed, but we're not really worried about that, so we're going to put the minor rear downforce on. We'll come back to the rear upgrade, but a load of upgrades then scheduled for the car, and it's not good enough because the upgrades that we have come through, we've been caught by Williams. Our Aston Martin now, they're really now just ahead of us. Bear in mind we saw what in driver career mode, obviously in the previous 3 episodes prior to this recording, we were racing Aston Martin for those places inside the top 10 that we did have. So far our teammate Sainz hasn't been able to match our good performances so far in this car. So we're looking to get ahead of, first of all, get ahead of Aston Martin. We've got a load of upgrades coming. Hopefully we can get them all on the car and just upgrade this car into the midfield. I think the top 3 teams might be out of reach, but I'm aiming for Ferrari, because Ferrari have dropped down massively throughout this series now. So yes, Ferrari is where we're going to. Mercedes, Red Bull and McLaren are way out in front, and no one's going to be able to touch them really, except those 3 teams really are going to be battling for the remaining part of the season. But anyway, moving to qualifying, it's raining. It's raining, of course it's raining. Baku is my favourite place to qualify other than Belgium. It's pretty, and Canada. These are pretty much 2 of the places where I can only qualify well. And in the wets, well, I've got no grip through the final corner. We're absolutely all over the place on the full wet tyre. And well, we're just coming up to the line now, and we're about 1 year, 58 days, 5 hours and 90 and some more minutes. But eventually we do, it's at the end of the session, it does dry out a bit and we go on the intermediates, which are just as bad. You can see here we're even behind Mazitwat, which is alarming how slow that I am, considering the fact that his pace has got even worse throughout the new patch. Nevertheless, we are going to improve our time by 4.5 seconds. It looks like Alonso's going to be starting down with us, and in the end it's a dreadful P19. So yeah, wet weather, not good for me. Lando Norris apparently managed to get a lap even though he didn't. So yeah, 19th on the grid will actually be last because we'll take brand new engine components. We'll see what we can do. It's the last question mark challenge. It's time for the race.
And a warm welcome to you from Azadlik Square, heart of Baku and home of course to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With high speeds, tight corners and few runoff zones, many are expecting a safety car here today, so our drivers will have to stay very much on their toes and hopefully away from the barriers. The Baku city circuit measures roughly 6 kilometers and is made up of 20 corners and 2 DRS zones. The circuit winds around the narrow city, through the old town, and even brushes against the city's medieval walls. However, as beautiful as the setting is, this track is also a ferocious technical challenge, where the smallest of mistakes could lead to catastrophic consequences for all of our drivers. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position today, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton, Sergio Perez, and Tsunoda. Mick Schumacher, Stroll, Gasly and Lando Norris. Sainz, Vettel, George Russell and Giotto, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Charles Leclerc, they've taken a grid penalty, and Esteban Ocon, Latifi, Mazepin, Fernando Alonso and the owner driver. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
You must be absolutely dreaming, Jeff. We're in last place, which is damage limitation to our opponents. Race strategy looks like it's going to be a 2-stop. I did have a look at a 1-stop, but in the end, the 2-stop, 2 sets of mediums, the sets off at the end seems to be the fastest. We'll see if that is actually the fastest or not. 5 lights then for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Lights out and away we go, and it's a mediocre start. Alonso's had a good start. We're going to try and dive down the inside though of a load of cars. Ocon, we can also get Ocon. We're going to get a greater exit out of turn 1 down to turn 2. Another dive bomb on some cars. Tried to get past Russell there, but he took the outside line, as well as there seems to be an issue for one of the cars, and this is why Perez has been. They tried to go 3 wide. I think that was Tsunoda with Hamilton, and it's just ended up with Perez being jumped in the wall. On board with Mick Schumacher in the Aston Martin car. You see that he was lucky not to be lose any of his front wing damage, as Perez without a front wing is now crawling to retirement as well. So he's out of the race. We're up to P10, so we've had a great start, although we have got Sebastian Vettel all over the back of us. Alonso's been given a 5-second penalty for something, which is going to try and get ahead of Giotto. And lap 3 now. We're still behind the Williams driver, so he is on the soft tyres, flying high in that Williams car, but we're going to dive it down the inside of the Italian and move up into P9. Our car is slightly better than the Williams on the R&D chart. Sainz is struggling again, so I don't know whether should we fire Sainz and pick another driver. Let me know in the comments below who we do. As we now move to lap 5, we're now approaching Gasly and Schumacher having a bit fight. We're going to try and get Schumacher. We're going to do a little bit of a switchback move on Schumacher. It doesn't quite work out, but we are going to get the DRS off Schumacher and the better line, and in the end we just the acceleration there. Schumacher tries to squeeze us a bit more to the rear side, but we're just comfortably down the inside of Schumacher. I'm up into P8 now. Next up is Gasly, who hasn't had a great start in his Ferrari career and is an easy sitting duck without DRS at turn 4. A little bit of contact with Gasly, but nothing doing there. And we're up to P6 now. Stroll and Norris up ahead. We're going to jump to lap number 8 now. The tyres are actually okay. The rears are going off more than the fronts, which is annoying because that's going to affect us through the final sector. But I feel like we're just going to do a one stop from medium, maybe to hard, or I'm more thinking soft. If the tyres hold out. So we're definitely going to convert this to a one stop. Vettel and Gasly are now going side by side through the right hand. Gasly is going to come right round the outside of Vettel. I think there was slight contact there. And this is why I also don't want to pit, because the two Haas cars, there's Schumacher, who we overtook earlier, and the two Haas cars are forming a blockade of Mazepin and Latifi there. So as there's a bit of smoke, huge bit of smoke, that's Sebastian Vettel, who's out of the race as well, another person. So he is out of the race with an engine failure, as Gasly's starting to come back at us on lap number 11 now. Moved up to P3 as Verstappen and Ricciardo have both made their first stops of a two-stop to the medium tyres. Lap 12 now, and there's a 3 wide moment between Ricciardo and myself. Ricciardo keeps down the inside. Gasly is lost out in the middle, and tried to switch back Ricciardo, but then he gets it okay. He gets the DRS and is just able to accelerate. So we've lost the race lead, but not really fighting for it. As there comes Bottas out behind. Out behind Ricciardo, crucially ahead of Verstappen though. Those three are miles ahead of anybody in 4th place. So yes, Bottas has to go around the outside now. Nothing doing there. Gasly is slowing up his former teammate Verstappen in the Ferrari. So yes, we now jump to lap 12, and Bottas has managed to get us through this final thing. He is on fresh soft tyres, as he is Ricciardo. Verstappen on medium, so is he? I think Verstappen was doing the strategy we were doing there, but Bottas is a sitting duck without DRS. Thank you very much. We're just going to stroll past Bottas, excuse me. Confirmation there that the tyres are starting to go off a bit, but I still feel that if we can stretch it to like lap 18 maybe, then we can go to soft. So that is still the plan of action. Bottas though is going to have DRS down to turn number 3, and Bottas this time is going to go through on the inside. We do try and put a little bit of a fight, but in the end it's just worthless. He's going to have the better line and take a bit of the curbing. So yes, but next up is Verstappen, who's going high, but that and he's just going to stroll past. We're not really putting up a fight. And then behind us are Tsunoda and Stroll, so we got a good bit of free air now until we jump to lap 17. Ricciardo is coming again for his final stop on set mediums. Bottas is in, so Ricciardo is the effective race leader. Verstappen has to stop again because he's only done 2 sets of mediums. We're going to come at the end of lap number 18 as the tyres on the rears are finally over 60%, 62% on the rear right. The fronts have done very well, only 18 laps on at 30%. Bottas, of course, on his fresh mediums does catch us and he does go past. Norris has brought himself into play, so he's going to be ahead of us. Gasly, it's going to be touch and go, but Norris, can we catch Norris in this soft tyres? Bearing in mind he is the fastest man, or he has set the fastest lap of the race, so that's going to be a tall order to catch that McLaren car. We're going to need a good stop from our Phoenix Grand Prix pit crew, but as it's a 3-second stop, it's not that great. There's Tsunoda and Gasly. Tsunoda has jumped Gasly, and we're going to come out, use a bit of ERS. Tsunoda's going to come out on the outside. We're going to have the inside line for turn 2, and he's going to give us DRS as well, so he should be able to accelerate away from Tsunoda and Gasly. And Hamilton is actually behind this lot. We're on board with Lewis now. He had to pit when he made contact with Perez, unfortunately. So once again, not having any luck, but he is starting to come through the field again after being last at one point in the early part of this stage, and he's got past So Gasly has now got past Tsunoda as well with DRS, so Hamilton is now right behind us, although we have been able to pull out a gap. As we watch our race leader then, Daniel Ricciardo, is going to win a third race in 4 rounds. So he is absolutely dominating this series for the McLaren in this second series, and he's won the race. Verstappen pinched the fastest lap. As I said, he did the 2-stop that we didn't. Fortunately, we were catching Norris, but we ran out of laps. So in the end, nevertheless, I will take P5. It's a very good P5. Slightly annoyed that we couldn't get P4. But considering the fact that where we started down in P22, to climb to P5 and to get 10 what could be crucial points for the Drivers and Constructors World Championship is mega as well. Ignore the race results. There was a slight glitch, so the 2 Haas cars, bits of cardboard, don't actually get points, and Lewis Hamilton did actually finish in 6th place, and the points reflect that. So I should just point that's just a slight glitch. Sainz actually did finish in P13, is in the middle of that list. Yeah, it doesn't seem to get a great start, Sainz. So if that's something we can work on through the one of the activities, then I think we're going to have to look into that. See if I can't remember which one affects starts. I'll have to look that up as well, and try and work on that, improving that stat as well. But yes, only 2. Nevertheless, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, we move up, back ahead of Ocon now, who's not had a great, after a good start for the Frenchman, actually has started to have a slump in his performance as well. We're up to P4, but I doubt we're going to keep it there now. Red Bull on a resurgent. We're up to P4 in the Constructors' Championship as well, just ahead of Alpine, Aston Martin, Ferrari. Can they finally turn up as well? We'll have to wait and see. But for very lofty heights, which is why we need to get these upgrades on so we can maintain our good positions in the Constructors and Drivers' Championship. Also, we'd like to get Sainz scoring some points as well, but I don't know that. So, but there we go. Ricciardo, 20 points clear at the top, massive lead in terms of Constructors, and Lando Norris is now moved up to 3rd. So his consistency after a disappointing opening round is starting to pay off. But yes, that's where I'm going to leave it today's video. If you have enjoyed, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you see plenty more episodes of the F1 2021 My Team career every week as when they come out. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.